Hello everybody, this is Lisa from SuttonsDaze. If this is your first time joining us, welcome. I hope you enjoy your stay here. Today we're going to chat a little bit about beyond food storage. Food storage is a major part of your pantry, and it should be. Food is necessary for our health and our comfort, and it's going to start raining. Okay. Now we're inside where it's not going to rain. Okay, so food storage is of course a very big priority in your pantry. However, if you've been with me for any length of time, you know that there are other things in our pantry, other things that we consider pantry item that are not food related. And they are necessary for our day-to-day life. They're things that we use every single day. And so for that, we kind of need to go through and make a list. Say, what are these things that we use every single day, that the kids use, that the husband uses, that the wives use, whatever, that the entire family uses, okay, and start making a list. Now, of course, this is always including toilet paper, you know, okay, 2020, one of the things that will be remembered for. But I have been preaching for years to stockpile toilet paper. Make sure you have enough toilet paper. You want at least a year worth of toilet paper, but you need to know how much you use too. So we're not going to get that in depth with this. First, just identify what it is that you use on a regular basis every single week. So if that is shampoo, conditioner, body wash, shaving cream, razors, toothpaste, toothbrush, toilet paper, paper towels, trash bags, you know, the list goes on. For me, one of the things that fell off my list that I completely forgot about was hairspray. I have very fine, thin hair, and I have to lacquer it in place, okay? So for me to realize earlier this week that I was down to a quarter of a can-ish of hairspray, okay, you know, so I needed to make sure that we got some hairspray stocked up. So now there's more hairspray in the house, and I'm not talking an extra can, I'm talking like 4, okay? So as you're working through this, you'll discover things that you didn't think of. Q-tips, cotton balls, rubbing alcohol, which is understandably a little difficult to find right now. Deodorant, you know, it's all those things that as you're talking it out with your family, you're going, oh yeah, I forgot about that, okay? So you need to identify the things that you use every single week in your household, and then make that list, and then figure out how much you need to use, how much you do use, and how much you will need to buy in order to start stockpiling it in your pantry. The next thing you need to think about are your pets or your livestock, okay? Because if you can't leave the house, or if something happens to where you can't leave the house, you're going to need to be able to care for them as much as you do for your loved ones inside the house. They are necessary. Some of them provide food for you. Some of them provide protection. Some of them just provide comfort, and that's important also. So your pet food. Now, you can't stockpile cat food and dog food, dry dog or cat food for an extended period. It's normally 6 months to a year. It has oils in it, and so it can go rancid, okay? But you can at least stockpile a year's worth if that's something that your budget allows you to do. As far as your livestock goes, making sure that you've got some backup to your backup is always very helpful in case you can't get out due to weather or whatever circumstances, so that you make sure that your livestock are well cared for during any kind of an emergency also. Another part of our pantry is how we protect our family. There are various ways that you can do this, various methods, various tools. I won't go into all of them. I won't really go into any of them. I will just say take a look at what you have and what you would like to have to protect your family, to protect your home, and look at what you can do on stockpiling those items or the things necessary to use those items, okay? Those are all really important to have also, and I consider protecting my family and my pantry and my animals to be of the utmost priority. So putting something aside to purchase or to help stockpile protection for our household is very, very important. What happens if the power goes out? Now, I've mentioned here the power tends to go out semi-frequently, and in the wintertime, I don't worry about it at all. For me, it's an extra few hours sleep. Yay, bonus, okay? Because we have a wood-burning stove, so it heats the house. we're fine. Our biggest issue is that we do not currently have a generator, and so we cannot flush or take a shower. However, we have water stacked up in buckets just for those purposes. We also have water that we have put aside that is potable water that we drink. So making sure that you have enough potable water, making sure that you have water for other needs, making sure that you have water for your animals are all very, very important things. What else do you need when the power's out? You may need batteries. You may need solar lights. You know, people have a bunch of different things now that they use when the power's out to help them feel more comfortable. A hand crank radio, I highly recommend. I'll put a link in the description box below. I love this little dude, and it just works fantastic. I can pick up enough to know what's going on, and you just crank it up and it goes, and life is wonderful, and you are connected, okay? Also now they have solar generators, not solar generators, they have solar chargers, thank you, for your phones. There's a little bit of an upfront cost to them, you know, but it's worth it if it's a way to power your phone if you have sunlight. Now here in Michigan, we don't have sunlight, you know, for most of the winter. So we typically rely on having battery banks that are charged up, and we can also plug our battery banks into our cars in order to recharge them. We can also plug our phones into our cars in order to recharge them. It just takes a little while to get it to where it's got to be, you know, but having backup power source for your phones is a really great thing too. So what kind of things would you like to have around if the power goes out? Next thing to think about is backup things for your cars. Do you have oil? Do you have transmission fluid? Do you have any of that, you know, stuff? Do you have backup medical supplies? Very important, okay, for those of you that have been with me for a while. You know, my first aid kit went from this tiny little thing on Amazon to it now takes up like 2 Rubbermaid totes, okay? So backup medical supplies, things to handle emergencies there, and backup supplies for your cars in case you can't go out to have it serviced. Do you have something that can fix a flat tire? Do you have something, you know, you can add oil to it if you need, or transmission fluid or antifreeze, windshield wiper solvent? I mean, make sure that you've got those in place in case you need them, okay? It's not like they're gonna go bad, so they're always good things to have around. And back to first aid again, more than just a few Band-Aids. You want some gauze, you want some pads, you know, pads for absorbing blood or moisture. You want some good medical tape. You want aspirins and painkillers, and you know, there's a bunch of different things that you can look at there, but these are, a medical kit is very unique to the household that it's in. You can get your basic one, which is great. I highly recommend it. I'll put a link to the one I started with below. It's a great addition. I mean, keep one in your cars, keep one in your house, keep one in the bathroom, you know, but you need to add to that. You need to beef it up a little bit, and it doesn't have to be a lot. A lot of the stuff you can get from places like the Dollar Tree, okay? So, but a medical supply kit and backup stuff for your cars is another great way to stock your pantry, okay? So that you have what you need in case of an emergency. Each household, as I mentioned, is a little bit different, okay? So for me and Phil, it's me and Phil, you know, and it's our animals, and we just go on from there. However, if you add in our extended family, if you add in the son and the daughter-in-law and the grandchildren, okay, then there's different needs, different requirements that we need to have here. If you have elderly or young children, there are different requirements that you need to have there. So those are things that you need to consider also, okay? Think about, you know, if you have someone elderly in your household, what kind of things make them comfortable? What kind of things do you need non-food wise in order to make sure that they're well cared for? Same thing with children. We're not talking about food, we're talking about those things that make them well cared for. Baby wipes, you know, and that goes for any of us really. Baby wipes are a great thing to have around. If you can find them in a nice sealed container, you know, so that they last a little bit longer, it's fantastic. But depending on the age brackets, depending on what they're into, what kind of things do you need to have that are unique for your situation that I might not be thinking about, okay? So you need to go through those two and take into consideration all of those little items for your pantry. Remember the old saying, 2 is 1 and 1 is none. Redundancy is a good thing. I'd rather have too much of something, okay, than not enough of something. And if it serves multiple purposes, even better. I mean, don't think for a minute that self-defense cannot be found within your bathroom or your garage, okay? You've heard about the wasp spray, you've heard about hairspray and a lighter, okay? Self-defense comes in a whole bunch of different forms, as does all of your other supplies. Duct tape and tinfoil and zip ties can be used for a lot of different purposes, and they're very handy to have around. So that should be part of your non-food storage also. Think about those things that you can have multiple uses for, and you're taking up less space, covering more ground, and being redundant in your preps, which is so very important. Having a bag of flour is not going to get you anywhere. Having 50 pounds of flour is going to get you a little bit further, okay? So I hope this helped spark a little in what to stock up regarding your non-food storage, because sometimes it goes beyond food storage. Being prepared goes beyond food storage. And if things get as hairy as some people are predicting, you're going to want quite a few of these little creature comforts that we take for granted today, okay? And I hope that you have the opportunity between now and then, and hopefully then doesn't happen, but to stock up on even just a little bit, just a little bit of it will make you feel that much better to know that it's there, okay? So I hope this helped. I hope that this inspired you a little bit in different parts of your pantry and different things that you can stock up on. Remember, there are all kinds of places to get out there and get little bits of this and little bits of that. Dollar Tree, Dollar General, you know, those kind of things are fantastic for starting your preps if you have not already done so. So just start. That's the important part. Just start. Remember, if you like what we do here, please hit that like, subscribe, and share. Check us out on Instagram, Facebook. And until next time, everybody, please be safe.